teaching philosophy recognizes the uniqueness of each student and the importance of motivating every learner in a unique way that best speaks to their individual needs. Every student's learning experience is different and unique, so multiple teaching methods and learning activities must be employed to encourage every person to unlock their hidden potential. I believe that this can be achieved if I create a learning environment that is stimulating, interactive, comfortable, and inviting, so that every student will feel encouraged and enthusiastic about attending and participating in class. I think the best way to tell you how I teach is to tell you how I don't teach, and that is by using the jug and mug principle. I don't teach this way because students are not merely receptacles. Rather, they are individuals with peculiar learning experiences, and they need to be involved in their own learning process. So my approach is student-centered. I use question posting to stimulate discussion, and I'm a very friendly and talkative person, so I let those traits shine through my teaching, so students will not feel intimidated to ask a question or to even offer a different point of view. I get students excited about the course before I even meet them by posting a welcome message on our team's platform. And this message empathizes with them. I acknowledge the difficulties that these adult learners face by juggling their multiple responsibilities. And I assure them that I'm not just there to give them notes and to administer tests, but to guide them through the successful completion of this course. These are assurances that I continue to echo throughout the course. Students describe me as bubbly, energetic, and fun. One student even wrote in a past evaluation that I'm like a cool drink after a long day. Something along those lines. That made me laugh, but I knew what they meant because I strive to make even the 5 p.m. lectures on a Friday evening as enjoyable as possible. But I think my students really see me for who I am because my friends and family will use those same adjectives to describe me. I'm very friendly and very talkative, and so I let those traits shine through my teaching. People like to have fun, so why not have fun while teaching and learning? I always say that sociology is a subject that is alive, it's not dead. Sociology is all around us, especially in the various forms of media. So I'm always listening to the radio, music, especially from regional and local artists, and combing through social media for interesting examples to bring to the classroom. I think that using real-life examples is what makes our content in class even more relatable. So I'm always looking for new teaching resources to use in future classes. I utilize that little tool we call the internet to keep up to date with knowledge and changing discourses in my field of study. For instance, it's very important to read, whether it's a newspaper article or peer-reviewed paper on academia.edu. It's very important to keep up to date. And in addition to these, I follow several sociology pages on my social media accounts so that I can keep up with topical issues in my discipline and participate with discussions with sociologists from all over the world. Additionally, I am on the mailing list for several associations like the Caribbean Studies Association, so it's easy to keep abreast with conference proceedings and even up-to-date publications.
My teaching philosophy is that all students are unique, that my teaching must reflect the varying cultural backgrounds, learning styles, and experiences of my students. As a student, I was fortunate to have lecturers that took the time to understand me and my needs as a learner. I knew if I ever became a lecturer, I'd want to be like that with and for my students. In order to ensure students' needs are met, I know I must create a stimulating environment where my students can grow not only mentally, but also emotionally and socially. This quote by John Dewey resonates deeply with me. If we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. My students are adults. I often ask myself, how do I make this experience an enjoyable one and not a chore? How do I impart knowledge, especially for students coming from work to learn and enjoy a session? The strategies I use when teaching are active engagement, practical experiences, group work, and play. Active engagement provides opportunities for students to engage in hands-on learning to reinforce the theoretical knowledge imparted. Practical experiences allow students to make connections between what they are learning and real-life experiences. Group work provides opportunities for them to brainstorm, collaborate, which helps them to solidify what they've learned. And group work and active engagement with their peers and with technology are integral as it allows them to explore ideas from a different perspective. Play. My students are varying ages, and a fundamental part of the early childhood program is that children learn through play. It's important to expose students to opportunities which will help them understand how children learn through play. Also, I incorporate play through the use of technology as formative assessments and to reinforce concepts taught. Also, play is fun, and I believe students learn concepts better if they enjoy what they are doing. I start each class with a quote. The use of quotes was modeled by one of my former lecturers. One I will always remember is, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn," and that's by Benjamin Franklin. The quotes are not only topic specific, but also motivational, as it sets a positive tone for the session. And I also do a lot of checking in with my students to find out how they are doing. I think my students would say I'm a good lecturer, fun and supportive. A good lecturer because I'm concerned about their learning. Students appreciate the techniques used to explain topics, as well as the strategies to reinforce. It helps them better understand the context. Upon the completion of one of my recent courses, a student recently asked if she would have me again, that she hopes she'll have me again. The next is fun. Students in the past have told me they've heard from friends that they'll enjoy my teaching class. So I know that they enjoy my classes. And supportive. For students to self-actualize, it's important to develop and demonstrate the courage to care. Students are coming to our program with so many issues, challenges, hopes and dreams that we must marry the academics and courage to care about them beyond the realm of student life to ensure their experiences are meaningful. I am a researcher by profession within early childhood, and as a researcher, I'm always reading and seeking ways to improve the experiences of my students. I would talk with colleagues and share my ideas and garner new ones from them. In the midst of projects, I often get ideas and strategies I can use to improve my teaching and learning experiences of my students. My job often takes me to schools, both public and private, and those experiences also present ideas and strategies that can be incorporated in my teaching. I'm an avid reader, and so I have subscribed to educational sites. The students are always at the forefront of my mind, and ideas are everywhere. So, it is about being open to change and to use new ideas that can be incorporated into my teaching, which will be beneficial to my students' learning experiences. I am a member of the International Institute for Educational Planning, IIEP, and every year I ensure I do short courses related to my field and attend webinars. I'm also an avid reader, as mentioned before, and I'm always reading, collecting articles related to my field.
My teaching philosophy is consistent with my life's philosophy, which is to treat people as I want to be treated, like a noble human being. In other words, it focuses on my values and beliefs. Therefore, when I apply these doctrines to teaching and learning, I think about the professional and ethical values that I have laid out not only for me, but for my students as well. These principles include inter alia, parties being responsible, fair, respectful, and honest with each other. When I look at the goals for teaching and learning, my first goal that comes to mind is to complete my curriculum within this specific time period. But I do not think this is all that is required. Instead, I want my learners to appreciate, understand, retain, share, and apply the content, as well as to get good grades. How and why I teach the way I do is largely dependent on two main things: my learners as well as my climate. Understanding the learners' preferences and their demographics will assist me to determine the best pedagogical skills to utilize during my lectures. Once I understand my learners, it helps me to make learning more applicable to them and the existing climate, which I take full advantage of to structure my lectures and to drive home certain points of discussion. Thereafter, I can utilize varying strategies ranging from expeditionary to personalized, game-based, inquiry-based, differentiated, and direct learning. Of course, I would also include computer-based and online-based methods to form a blended learning opportunity. However, these tactics will not be successful without testing them through feedback, interactive sessions, and formative as well as summative assessments. All of this is conducted to ensure complete learning has taken place. I engage and motivate my students by firstly building quality relationships with them. This is done by finding time before, during, and after class sessions to engage them in one-on-one as well as group conversations so that they can have a voice. Additionally, I create a culture of high expectations by encouraging my learners to be the best they can be at everything they do. I also encourage them to get involved in classroom activities. I also utilize certain topics to help them draw connections to real-life situations. Moreover, I tell them to aim for the A grade, and I reward students' success through direct and indirect praises. Students typically describe me as very strict, meticulous, pragmatic, gentle, passionate, dependable, knowledgeable, determined, contemporary, professional, fair, democratic, as well as outspoken. However, the one description that stood out with me a few years ago was when a female student called me mom. I was stunned and wondered if I was getting too close to my students. However, in the final analysis, I think it was the nurturing role in me that caused this. To prepare for teaching and learning, I review the teaching material and adjust accordingly. I also take notes. I also find out what is happening in the current climate, and I will apply to the lecture if the need arises. I also prepare relevant handouts. Also, as part of my preparation, I anticipate questions around the topic and ensure that I answer those questions well. To successfully do this, I must conduct cognitive analysis of my learners. My main areas of teaching surrounds communication, which continues to evolve. Consequently, as a progressive individual, I conduct feasibility studies to get additional insights into my subject areas. Additionally, I attend and conduct in-house training sessions, webinars, workshops, during which time additional information is acquired from participants. Information from these activities helps me to determine if there is a need to update my content to make it more relevant.